Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. So I had a really good response to my last video, which was my first experiences of COVID and what it was like coming back after 3 months of traveling and starting back at work in the emergency department. A few of you have asked me questions about like the comparison between then and now, so I thought I would do a little then versus now video. If you're interested in seeing more videos about what life is like as a doctor, then I've got loads of vlogs. Have a look at my channel, have a look at my playlist, and you'll see lots of videos of what I get up to at work. My last two videos have both been vlogs from work, and you guys seem to have really enjoyed those, so definitely check those out if you want to see what my day-to-day life is like as a doctor. If you enjoy this video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification if you want to see every time I upload a new video. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you may know that I am a junior doctor in the NHS and I currently work in an emergency department in a very busy trauma centre. So we are very much always busy at the emergency department I work in, and at the moment things are quite different. So as you saw in my last vlog, I talked about how the department is a lot quieter at the moment. A&E is currently split into COVID and non-COVID. So we are especially quiet in the non-COVID unit at the moment, and it's very concerning because we worry that patients aren't actually seeking the medical help that they need, because of course people still are having heart attacks, strokes, falling and breaking their hips and those kind of problems. So yeah, work is quieter at the moment, which is strange. Just to put it into numerical form, for example, on a busy winter shift, we might have 200 patients in the department at any given time. And at the moment, for example, when I came on shift the other day, we only had 70 patients in the whole department. So things are a bit different. Add on to that the fact that we aren't allowing any relatives to come to the department with patients. Normally, patients come in with like one or two relatives, and so there are just far fewer bodies in A&E at the moment, and it feels very quiet. Next thing that is different that I've noticed is that the things we are seeing tend to be more complex. So I think part of that is that patients are seeking help later. So they may be waiting at home to see if something passes on its own rather than actually coming to get help, which of course we don't advise people do. We always advise that people seek medical help when they need it. Call 111 if you think that you have some medical emergency that needs treatment and you want to speak to a medical professional. But we're seeing patients that have waited, and of course if you wait, things can sometimes get worse. So I'm finding personally that at work I'm having to spend a lot longer with each patient to kind of work out the few problems that they have rather than just the one problem that they've come in with. Another thing that has changed, which is really brilliant, and I hope that this could continue, but I very much doubt that it will, is that there's a better staffing to patient ratio at the moment, and that's for a number of reasons. One of them is that we obviously have fewer patients in the department at the moment. The other is that we have lots of doctors and nurses who have come out of retirement or come back from career breaks who have come to help, or who normally work in other departments and have come to the emergency department to help. I know that across the board in other departments that isn't the case, and that, for example, in ICUs, in the intensive care units, there is a lot of stretch, and the staffing to patient ratio is very much lower, which is a real shame. But I'm just talking about my experience here, and I know that in the department I work in at the moment, we have a lot more staff per patient. Something that's quite frustrating since this all started is that everything just takes so much longer. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram, I posted a picture of me in my PPE. We have to wear these like full body suits with a visor and a mask, an FFP3 mask. This is what I look like after 4 hours of wearing one of the masks that we have to wear in the COVID unit. You get really bad marks on your face, and I actually ended up nearly getting a pressure sore on my nose. But the main thing is that we're protected and that we're not exposed to the virus. This is a picture of me being fit tested for my mask to make sure that it makes a good seal around my mouth and nose. And they put this bag over your head and pump in a gas that has quite a strong smell and taste. And you breathe very deeply and you do lots of different movements to make sure that the mask makes a good seal. And if you can't taste the gas, then you know that you've got a good seal. So yeah, everyone has to do this to make sure that we have a well-fitting mask and that we're well protected. It takes ages to put it on correctly, and then it takes ages to take it off, and everything is just slow. The other day I was working in the COVID unit, and then they needed to pull me from that unit to the non-COVID unit, and of course if I'm contaminated, there's a risk that I could bring the virus from that area to the non-COVID unit. So my boss asked me if I would take off all of the PPE. I had to then take off my uniform, have a shower and put on some disposable scrubs, and then go all the way back to the non-COVID unit. And by the time I'd done all of that, I think it took me like 45 minutes to make the round trip to do all of those bits and pieces. So everything is just taking a lot longer, but I think that everyone's aware of that, and you know, it's much better to be safe than to rush these kind of things. I had a very awkward moment in the shower where I realised I didn't take my towel in with me, so I had to do a very quick dash to grab one and hope that no one else was in the changing room. And it was like one of those dreams where you're naked at work, except it wasn't a dream, it was a reality. Also, every time we finish shifts, we have been told that we have to take off our uniform and go home in our own clothes. So I'm changed and it's time for me to go home. We have to put our uniform in a pillowcase or another bag, and then inside a plastic bag, and then put the pillowcase in the wash with our uniform in on a hot wash as soon as we get home. And then we also have to shower and wash our hair just in case any of the virus is in our hair or on our skin, so that you're not like rubbing it onto your bed sheets or passing it on to your partner or your family. And to be honest with you, at the end of a night shift, all I want to do is come home and get straight into bed, or even at the end of a twilight shift, I quite often work at 2 till midnight, so I'll get home at 1 a.m. and the last thing I want to do is to do a wash load and then get in the shower and wash my hair and dry my hair and have another hour until I go to bed. But it has to be done. And on top of that, I also have to make sure that I'm decontaminating the areas that I've been. So every time I finish a shift, I go and spray down my car steering wheel and anything that I've touched, like my front door, my keys, and I spray down my shoes, because obviously I'm not going to put them in the wash after every single shift. Yeah, everything's just taking a hell of a lot longer at the moment. And finally, I've mentioned this in my last video, but I want to mention it again. We feel really well supported at work at the moment. It's lovely to have the support of the public. You know, there's so many good news stories about people raising money for the NHS. Obviously the clap for carers on a Thursday evening. Loads of lovely support from the public, and it's really heartwarming and overwhelming to hear all these positive things coming from the public, because we, as a profession, the healthcare sector, we often get slammed in the media. I don't want to make this video a political video, but the NHS is hugely underfunded, and it can feel like the NHS is being slowly torn apart by underfunding. And so to know that people really do love the NHS and want it to thrive and want the workers to continue doing the brilliant jobs they're doing and to have the funding that the NHS so badly needs is really wonderful. And I just hope that this leads to a change in the funding of the NHS, because personally, I want to see it continue and I want to see it thrive. Right guys, that brings me to the end of this video. I hope that has been interesting to you. Hear a few things that have been different since this whole craziness that is going on in the world at the moment. I hope that you are having a safe and healthy lockdown, and that you are able to get some distraction from all things COVID, because it can be a little bit overwhelming. On that note, I have a couple of outfit videos coming up for you guys that are completely I don't even mention the word coronavirus or COVID in them. They are just outfit videos, spring lookbooks. They will be on their way to you, hopefully, if I get my butt in gear and do some editing next week. If you've liked this video, then give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in my next one.
Today's shout out goes to Abby, who's a new viewer, and she commented on my last video. She says she's got 2 little kids and she's just waiting to find out whether or not her application to graduate entry medicine has been successful. Abby, you are smashing it, girl. You've got 2 young kids and you're applying to medical school. Wow, that is seriously impressive. Well, I wish you all the best of luck and I hope that we will be colleagues in the very near future. Thanks for watching. Bye.